Our last example is example 3, and it reads, a triangle as a base, or it should say has a base, I'm sorry. A triangle has a base of 2 inches and a height of 3 inches. The base and the height of the second triangle are 4 times greater than the base and the height of the first triangle. How many times greater is the area of the second triangle than the area of the first triangle? So there's a lot of stuff here that we're looking at. First thing that we need to know is the triangle. And we know the base of the triangle is 2 inches, and the height of that triangle is 3 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and circle that information, and then I'm going to go ahead and draw the first triangle. And I'm going to label it. So here's my triangle. Okay? And I'm going to go ahead and label it with the information. It says the base is 2 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and put 2 inches for the base here. And then I'm going to go ahead and draw in the height. Remember that straight line that rock would fall. That's going to be your height. And the height, they said, is 3 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that in. Okay? Now I'm going to have to find the area of that triangle because it's asking me to compare areas. So we might as well go ahead and find the area of that triangle right now. So we know we're going to use our formula. A equals base times height divided by 2. I'm just choosing this formula right now because most students that I run across tend to like this formula the best. If I was here in class right now, I would actually ask us as a class which one we would prefer, but I'm just going to go ahead and do it this one way. If you would prefer using the 1/2 versus the dividing, go ahead. So I go ahead and start. Do I know my base? Yes, it's 2. So my area is going to equal 2 times the height, which is 3, and I'm going to divide it by 2. Okay, so 2 times 3 is 6 divided by 2 equals 3 inches squared. That's the area of the first triangle. Now I have to compare it to the second triangle. And I go back up to the problem. Oh, I'll give you a second to write it down if you need it. I go back up to the directions. It says the base and the height of the second triangle are 4 times greater than the base of the first triangle. So I know it's going to be larger. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my second triangle. It's going to be a little larger. Okay, there it is. And I'm going to go ahead and label this triangle. But no, again, here's my base. And here's my height. But I know they're larger than the first one. And instead of having 2, it's going to be 2 times 4, 4 times larger, which means the base is going to equal 8 inches. And the height is going to be 3 times 4, which equals 12 inches. Okay? So I use that information for my triangles. And now I have to find the area of this second triangle. Okay? I'm going to start by using the formula. A equals base times height divided by 2, where A equals 8 times 12 divided by 2. I go ahead and multiply 8 times 12. Oh, I don't know off the top of my head, so I'm going to go off to the side. 8 times 12. 8 times 2 is 16. Carry the 1. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 1 is 9. So I have A equals 96 divided by 2. Okay? Now I have to take 96 and divide it in half. Okay, so now I have to take 96 and divide it by 2. So off to the side, 96 divided by 2. 2 goes into 9 4 times. 4 times 2 is 8. 9 minus 8 is 1. Bring down the 6. 2 goes into 16 8 times. 8 times 2 is 16, with none left over. So my answer is A equals 48 inches squared. Okay? So my original one, my first triangle, was 3 inches squared. My second triangle, my larger one, is 48 inches squared. And I want to go back up to the question to determine what do I have to do, though, with these numbers. It says how many times greater is the area of the second triangle than the first? So what on earth does times greater than mean? Is it adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing? Well, we know times greater is very similar to times more, which is on the bottom of our division, so we're actually going to divide. We're going to look down at our areas. 48 is our second triangle, and we want to know how many times larger that is than 3. So I'm going to go ahead and erase this work because I need some space. And I want to know, I'm going to take 48 inches squared and divide it by 3 inches squared to figure out how many times more. So 48 divided by 3. 3 goes into 4 once. 1 times 3 is 3. 4 minus 3 is 1. Bring down the 8. 3 goes into 18 6 times. 6 times 3 is 18 with a difference of 0. So this is telling me what? The second triangle is 16 times, or even, not even the second triangle, the area of the second triangle. The area, sorry about that. The area of the second triangle is 16 times greater. The area of the second triangle is 16 times greater than the first triangle. And now I look back, and does that answer the question? How many times greater is the second triangle than the first? And it does.